Hey there, Pete Rossetti here, bringing you Type 1 Tuesdays, where I tell you a little bit about Type 1 diabetes and what that means for your life. So, I don't know, everything comes back to this, I guess, sort of in a way, and the more you kind of study yourself or, kind of work with yourself or work with other people, you'll realize that, a lot of the times we are one just big old ball of fears. And I guess today I'm going to talk about fears and what that means for type 1 individuals. Commonly comes out of, or let me back up. So fears come out of insecurities which could be developed based on somebody else's thoughts primarily, or an experience that had judgment around it which might have fit or not fit into somebody else's thoughts. Um, for example, my chiropractor kind of mentions this story of a young boy trying to climb a slide or a ladder. He's on the playground, and he's going on to the top of the slide, and he might be like looking towards his mother or something, or the mom's really nervous and she's afraid, and she says, "Don't go up there or come back down. You're gonna hurt yourself." And if the kid falls and there is some consequence around that experience, the kid, a la conditioning model, has learned to be afraid of that experience. Since we since we hold on to things from our childhood and emotionally, physically, like psychologically, scientifically, we do hold on to things from even when we were 7 years old. So now if this same child tries to ask somebody out on a date, or is looking to start their own business, to a certain degree they're going to look around and kind of understand, where do I need to find approval, where do I need to find somebody who makes me feel okay about this situation. And fears kind of work the same way. If evolutionarily we relied on other people to say where the next saber-toothed tiger was coming out of a cave, we would listen to that person. We would hold that word to be true and kind of know, like, oh crap, I can't go in that cave. There's freaking animals in there. I'm gonna get ripped apart. So yeah, in that same way, now that we've evolved as thinking beings, we need to kind of realize that our fears come out of thoughts, and thoughts are made up, and thoughts are created from other people. So what this means for a diabetic body, and anybody kind of dealing with chronic conditions, is that very commonly in the medical world, there is very much this diagnosis that you're given, and this sentence, this opinion of a doctor, this claim, this piece of information that you're given, this thought that says, don't do this because this will happen, don't do that because that'll happen. So that just creates this whole new cycle of fear, and creates all these things that act pretty negatively and really end up developing a conditioning or pattern as to how we live and choose and kind of go through our lives. This is huge. this affects all of us on a daily basis, because we rely so much on what is coming in from media, from other people, from experiences, through stimulation, through the outside sensory world, that we rely so much on what that means for us, what that looks like for us, what that makes us look like, become like. And it not only gets us comparing a whole crap ton, but it creates this sense of lack where, you're not good enough. You can't do that. How will you do that? And if we don't know how, then we stop ourselves, and then we limit ourselves, and we don't actually progress in something that we can do because we're afraid of what other things or people or opportunities may not be available or whatever. So um, it's hard to kind of synthesize the gist of this, and I hope it's kind of clear. But um, what I'd love for anyone to kind of just consider in watching this is like, where are my thoughts coming from? Who made up this idea? Who says that that's the truth? And try to do it objectively without judgment, and just understand like, oh, the same way the kid on the playground, they could define that slide as an object, a toy, a piece of equipment, a metal apparatus. Kids don't use the word apparatus, but still, just as long as you understand like that is not a negative, painful, defeating object, then you could eliminate that judgment and think about like, what is this thing? How does this affect me? How will this affect me? How will that person affect me? And all that is super key in kind of looking objectively about your life, and figuring out the things that really matter most, and the things that won't hold you back and could allow you to actually go and thrive and do some cool stuff. So I'm not coming at this as a fear conqueror, because just as there is a polarity in life, there's you know, fear and happiness, and fear and action, or whatever the opposite of fear may be. But just start to take a look at it, and I think you'll surprise yourself on the things that you're afraid of. And yeah, so all right, thanks, bye.